I can think of a couple conversations, and it was more of like when we were rolling out a new onboarding process with new designs that included a better user experience when they first download the app, and we had a new paywall and whatnot, and there was just I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but I remember where I was walking around Lady Bird Lake in Austin, Texas, and I was on the phone with you, and I was pissed at you for whatever reason. I was upset. And it was,
which is healthy, by the way.
Yeah,
that's part of the relationship.
It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to end this relationship. It was just like a normal business, misunderstanding at one point. And if I can't remember what it was about, but I remember it was having to do with the onboarding, and I think there was something that was out of order or whatnot, and the paywall didn't hit it a certain way, and there was just a misunderstanding. And I think what happened, I think the reason why I was frustrated is because I was so used to you always nailing it and like getting it right, that when you didn't, I'm like, dude, why are you like,
what the hell?
Why are you shorting me? Like, why are you shorting me? I feel like you're shorting me, And then another thing too, the only other thing that I would get that I felt a difficult conversation was about was there was a billing thing when you were like, hey, I did all this, it's this much money. And I'm like, wait, how was doing just these simple things, how did it cost that many hours? It didn't make sense to me. And then when you broke it down, he was like, no, we actually have to go way deep into every single shift and break it down so they all connect. And that made more sense. But I remember initially that conversation, I was like, wait, that's way too expensive, because it's just like, all it is one screen. Like, how can it be that expensive?
For people like us, it's like, why?
Yeah.
But yet it was way more complicated. Do you remember those conversations a little bit?
Yeah, I remember specifically the one on the onboarding one.
Yeah.
And that one was like, it was tough because we were changing the subscription model, and there was a lot going on with it. I remember that conversation, and really, like, I think just like every conversation is like, how can we go in and like make this right? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
And it was definitely one of the harder conversations, because that literally was like the first time that we've ever had any kind of like scuffle with anything.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun.
I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, we were frustrated. I was frustrated for a little bit, but we fixed it.
I mean, how many times in building a business have you been frustrated?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's part of the process, right? It wasn't a personal thing.
Yeah.
I was frustrated, and then I think it was fixed by the next day, so it wasn't even a thing.
Which I feel like is really important for our listeners to kind of like understand. Like, listen, there's got to be communications. There's going to be miscommunications. There's going to be missing the marks, missing the deadlines. But it's like working through that and
that was another thing I feel like I did well too, is I managed my expectations initially at the front end, because it's like I know that, like, I think it was my mom who told me that she's like, in regards, she said building a house, she's like, it's going to cost 20% more. It's going to take twice as long. And so I've always kind of been talking, it's going to probably be a little bit more than I initially expected. And it's going to take longer than I expected. And so I kind of went in with that expectation. So I never got frustrated in regards to pushed out deadlines or higher costs necessarily, because it was kind of already like assumed like that's going to happen.